Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Basscast Radio. I am your host, Brian Carter. Welcome back to the show, guys. Whew, this is going to go up on a Monday, but we are only like a week, a little bit more or less, week away from the 2026 Bassmaster Classic in Knoxville, Tennessee. Excited about that. We wish Trever lived closer. We wish Thomas had some more gas money. We wish everybody could be there, but me and Fish are going to be there. Thomas,
Ooh,
did you sell a horse yet?
not yet. No, I like being married.
Dang. We want Thomas there more than you can ever imagine. And, do I need to pick you up? Meet me here
Yes.
at the house. Guys, I hope everybody's doing great. Hope everyone's had a great week out there. The basscast.com's been up and down the road covering tournaments. We covered Cat at Curl Lake. We've been covering Cat at Smith Mountain Lake. And after this is uploaded, we'll have 2 days of Angler's Choice on Smith Mountain Lake. Guys, I don't know if you've seen the weights, but we're talking like 28-pound bags on Smith Mountain Lake. I mean, the fish are biting on Smith Mountain Lake. Giant bags. Hopefully we'll repeat some of that, and you'll have seen it by now up on the basscast.com. But like I was saying earlier, we're excited. We're rolling out Wednesday morning and heading to Knoxville, Tennessee, by the way. It's what we call it. And we're going to hang out with the pros, the Joes, all the boys from the media. We get excited to see a little family reunion for all of us. I know the anglers get to see each other all the time, but media, unless, I'm going to say, Classic just brings so many different media from all over the globe that only cover like one angler. I mean, when I go to Major League Fishing, it's like 5 of us, maybe 10 at the most. But the Classic, I mean, it's like an entourage for everyone. I mean, this is where the YouTubers, I ain't gonna say nothing about Asians, but the Asians have like 50 people covering them. They will clog up the media room every freaking year. You can't understand anything they say, but they're beautiful, and that's all that matters. But yeah, it's always an interesting time at the Bassmaster Classic, and we're excited to be there and bring you guys coverage this year. We'll be doing the podcast show again in 2026, as well as I'll be walking around my Meta AI glasses, doing some live on-demand stuff there. Guys, I'm not going to lie to you, the Meta AI glasses, if you want to buy the new version, they are worth every penny. The photos are good, not great, but the video quality is great. And you get everyone's, just as long as you don't jerk your head too fast, it's a great quality. So I'm having to learn to slow it down a little bit when I got them on, but it is really freaking cool. And a lot of people like watching the weigh-ins as I take photos and do the behind the scene footage about what's happening at events that we'll be covering and we'll have them up this weekend as well for the both Angler's Choice events. But guys, Fisher Anaya is in the house. Bassmaster Open, dude's crushing it, talking about catching giant bags. Biggest bag ever, brother.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I went to a little small lake right here around the house and was fortunate enough to catch some crazy. I've never caught 3 double digits in one day till then.
Holy cow. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit.
Awesome.
We're going to talk about that with Fisher in a little bit. But Trever, it is fantasy fishing time. This is the last time to make your picks, everyone, before the Classic. So we're going to let Trever take the stage for a moment.
All right. Yeah. I wish I could be at the Classic this year, but the way spring break fell for me being a teacher, there was no way they were going to let me out the Friday before spring break. They're like, I'm one of the admins there. So they were like, yeah, no, the kids are crazy enough. They weren't going to let me go. So, all right. So we're talking the last picks for the Classic as we're coming up for fantasy fishing. Get your picks in now. Get them in early. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up the buckets here. Now, bucket E is an interesting bucket for you guys that are in the fantasy fishing side because bucket E is going to have a lot of anglers that aren't right now on the elite tour. A lot of these guys have qualified either through the opens and they haven't made it to the elites, or they did it through the Bass Nation. They haven't quite got there, but these are the ones that really have qualified, except one, that are in bucket E. So take special heed. A lot of everybody is going towards Laker Howell. That's where a lot of the love is going right now. And then to the next two that are in line, one is to Nick Trim, who is on the Elite Series. He's the only Elite Series angler in Bucket E. So go through. Again, you're going to have to dig a little deeper if you're looking at who you're going to pick in this bucket. You might have to, just have a way to just see all of their stats in one place. So go check out Bucket E is that. And then Bucket D has our guest in here. I don't know why they have Fisher Anaya all the way down in Bucket D after the clinic he put on, in the second event of the series. He's still sitting way down there. And it's interesting. You are getting all the love, though. I can tell you that right now. In Bucket D, you are 51% of everybody has chosen you on their fantasy fishing team, sitting down in Bucket D. So, and the next one in line is Dylan Nutt. Again, he's one that actually qualified. He's actually not on the Elite Series, but he may soon very well be. So keep an eye on that. So again, that's Bucket C. They got some pretty good anglers sitting in there. Bucket C is where Brock Mosley is getting all the love. And again, he's having one stellar year too. He's been crushing it this year as far as the steady consistency. He's actually kind of ranked number one on the list. So again, how is he in Bucket C? It's one of those, not really sure where fantasy fishing's thinking throwing some of these anglers down in those lower buckets that's down there. And then number 2 in Bucket C is Cooper Gallant. He's a Canadian that's loaned in there. So he's hanging out there because, again, unfortunately, the reigning champ on this lake for the Classic didn't qualify for this one. So Gussie's not going to be in attendance to recapture the glory of his days there. Bucket B, this is where Brandon Lester is getting a lot of the love. If you don't know Brandon Lester, he in this Tennessee River fishing system up in these areas, he always does really, really well. He's always placing high up in there, so he's getting a lot of the love right now in Bucket B. But there's some sneaky good ones in there too. So don't just always go with where everybody's going. You can look at some other areas. And then again, this is where your Japanese anglers are falling. Tako Ito and Koyoya are in here. So again, depending on how they're going to play, Tako usually does pretty good at the Classic. So
yeah, I was going to say Tako does really, really well at the Classic. And I think Taco's big on the river system, ain't he?
He is. He does really, really well. And he's sitting at 14%. So there's a few people that are that have left Lester and jumped on the Taku train. So, and then A, this is where you have number 1, the top 2 sitting on the list because it's alphabetical are your last 2 reigning champions. You got Easton Fothergill and Justin Hamner sitting there in this one as well. And then you have, obviously, Jordan Lee is also in this bucket. Again, he's won a couple of these, so you can never count him out. But all of the love is going to Trey McKinney. So in Bucket A, a lot of people are looking at Trey McKinney. Again, the kid that he just, last year? He placed pretty high last year, too, at the Classic for his first Classic. So, don't count him out. Then you got Tucker Smith sitting in there. Tucker's used to big money. He's used to big stages. He's used to big crowds. The kid can just fish everywhere. You can just catch him. You got
Trey
Patrick
and Tucker
Walters,
roommates, by the way.
Yeah. So, and then you got Patrick Walters, who's coming off of the NPFL victory. So he just won that just recently, which brought a triple crown for him on the NPFL side. And again, another one of those sneaky river guys that's sitting right in there too in Bucket A with Kyle Welcher.
Yeah,
that guys can they could catch him.
Trever, have you made your
picks? But again, get in there. I have got my picks.
You mind divulging?
So for Bucket A, I did go with the sneaky pick. I didn't go with everybody. I know Trey McKinney's going to do well, but I kind of went with Kyle Welcher in Bucket A.
Yeah.
I just think he's going to catch him. He finished, I think second at the NPFL. He's just there. Bucket B, I went with everybody's pick just because Brandon Lester I don't know. There's just something about this fishery in this area this time of year. He just does really, really good. Then I went with Brock Mosley. And then in bucket D, I jumped on the bandwagon. I did pick Fisher Anaya for bucket D, threw him in there. And then bucket E, I went with a Japanese angler. If I tried to pronounce his name, I would probably pronounce it very, very poorly. But I went with Yu Aoki.
Yui Aoki.
How you say it? So
What was it,
that's
Fisher?
who I went with.
Yui Aoki, I think is how he says it.
Yui Aoki. So I went with him, just kind of rolling the dice. I'm so far down in points right now that I need to make up some ground. So I had to pick some that are not so high up on the list to try to gain some points. So
That's awesome.
the last one I did pretty good. I did get some points up in there, so climbed up. Last year I was running like 80s and 90s, and Tale of Two Cities. This year I'm like 40s and 30s. So
Thank you, Trevor.
and also don't forget. Also another thing that Bassmaster did that I think is pretty good. It's that pick'em challenge where you get to do like this angler versus this angler and who's going to finish higher. They started that a couple years ago, so get those picks in too. Those don't count for the group though, but
No.
they're fun to do.
Yeah.
All right.
You guys talking about Patrick Walters, dude. $300,000. I mean, does he really need to go back to Bassmaster? I mean, should he just stay at the NPFL? I mean, besides getting a chance to go fish a Bassmaster Classic, money is money, and he just built a brand new house on the lake. I mean, let's just say it just got paid for, probably. I mean,
it's a fun debate of like we've had this on the show ad nauseum, and we'll continue to have it. What makes you a professional fisherman? And if he basically fills his 401k and pays his mortgage with the NPFL, that he's technically a professional. You can be a professional baseball player in AAA baseball. So like, no matter how you want to slice it or argue it, like, I mean, he's making it work.
Yeah, the dude, man, I love him. Patrick's amazing. Great guy. He's been on the show many, many times. I know he's got kids now and family, or young man, and family and life, but we'd like to really get Patrick back on. But yeah, the dude has been catching bass. I mean, $300,000 in the NPFL alone. So
that's not counting his bass earnings.
I don't know where he's putting him trophies, because I got to pick up John Sokup's trophies at the Classic one year. We're talking about they're like 50 to 70 pounds a piece. I mean, it's like,
those shields in the NPFL are huge.
They are huge. If you guys have never seen one, you need to check it out. Make sure you guys, like I said, the first event's over, but a lot of season left for NPFL. Go support them, please. Go to a weigh-in. Go hang out with the guys. I mean, these are weekend warriors who are just out there trying to cash a check, a very big check on top of that. But it's a great league. We like supporting it, and we like getting a lot of the anglers on this show to talk about their season. All right, Potomac, man. Good gosh. You guys all know Thomas wasn't able to be with us last week because he had a meeting. And, we're going to hear what all is going on up your way, boss man, and what's the future looking like?
Oh my goodness. So how do I timeline this bad boy, honestly? So I mean, I literally had to do a flow chart here for this. If you guys don't know, if you're living under a rock, I am on the Freshwater Advisory Board for Maryland. I also run Fishing the DMV. So basically, if anything happens from North Carolina through Pennsylvania, I will probably hear about it through all the DWR contacts and all of my grassroots people. So on Monday the 19th, there was a pipe. And I don't know what wording I can say for this, because we'll call it fecal matter. We'll go with that. I guess that's PR friendly. Anyway, so the biggest pipe in Maryland, which is explained to me as like the jugular on your throat, that pumps all of the stuff from Northern Virginia and Maryland down to DC to be treated, it broke. And this is not just a little pipe. This is literally all of that stuff in that area broke. And it was reported that it's fine. It was contained. It wasn't. And all of this stuff was dumping into the river. 24 hours later, I start getting text messages and messages from people saying, like, have you heard about this problem? Have you heard about this problem? By Wednesday, I called the Potomac River Keepers, and I got them on the show. And so I was, I think, the first or second news outlet to actually break this story. And what happened was that main pipe broke, and close between 40 to 60 million gallons per day were being dumped into the Potomac River at around Lock 10, which is above Great Falls.
Right.
What also happened in this time period was the worst snowstorm to hit our area in, you fill in the blank, 10, 20, 30 years also happened. So they had to try to pivot to try to stop the bleeding, so to speak, while the snowstorm was going on. They managed to semi get this stuff kind of contained, which we'll tell you how they get it contained here in a minute. And then the Super Bowl happened. And because there was apparently a lot of people that ate chili that night, they broke all the pumps. And the pumps went down, and it went right back to dumping between 40 to 60 million gallons of untreated sewage into the river. Now, as we stand now, they do have it pretty much contained. Now, how are they doing that? Well, the Potomac River, in this section that we're talking about, has this really old canal because George Washington thought he could actually create a canal system next to the river that you see in like Pittsburgh, Ohio, places like that. So it's called the C&O Canal. Mm-hmm. And this canal that straddles the river on the Maryland side, if that was not there, there would be no way for them to stop this thing because the pipe is so big and there was a boulder that crushed it. It's just leaking everywhere. So they're using the canal system as an open water sewage. And they're pumping it in above Lock 10 a little bit ways, and then they're letting it flow down like a river of fill in the blank, and then pumping it into the station. Depending on who you talk to, it might take between 2 months to 6 months from now for that open sewage system to be treated. So there are a couple of issues going on here. So number one, for us, for fishermen, all this stuff, is the river going to die? What's going on with this? It's not Chernobyl. It's not like the Shenandoah spill where it was mercury being dumped into the river. It is going to be E. coli amongst tons of other goodies and stuff that are being dumped into the water. Hopefully, with the flow of the basin and a good rainstorm or two, it should be taken care of. Whether it's April, May, June, July, whatever, it will be taken care of. The river will be fine. No issues at all. Now, that is for, I think, bass fishing. If you're going to or if you're going to try to do catch and release and all that jazz, perfectly fine. Shouldn't be an issue. I wouldn't go swimming necessarily, but all that should be fine. The other issue, which is quite funny, is they're treating it like an open sewer system.
Oh, wow.
A mile, the canal. What happens when it gets hot?
Yeah, no joke.
They didn't think this through. So when it hits May, June, July, 100 degrees in DC, the smell is going to be insanely bad. Flies, bot flies, mosquitoes, malaria could be back. And depending on when the wind blows, you might not want to go outside. So it's a very unique circumstance where the water itself isn't bad. It won't be a problem, but the side effects are so bad that it's going to make it a problem, because if you walk out of your house, you're going to get hit with that stench. And so it's really going to be hard for people to disassociate the problem, if that makes any sense. Yeah. And these are some of the richest counties in the world, not the United States, the freaking world. And so when the stay-at-home mom, Karen, walks out and her Bentley smells like fill in the blank, that's going to cause some issues. So we'll see. There were a bunch of tournament directors that are trying, that did move tournaments. There are some certain organizations that we might be talking about tonight that called in about, like, should we move tournaments or not? Some of that's still an asterisk. I think it'll be okay, but the fear has really cranked up. Now, again, separate here. The fishing will be okay. The biggest story is the response was lackluster. If this was nuclear waste, if this was mercury, it took them a month and some change to get it under control. That's not good at all. And they never had a plan. Exxon Oil, when that whole rig exploded, it sucked. They at least had a contingency plan about how to stop it. They never had a plan of, if the main artery for sewage breaks, how do we stop it? That was never there. And I think that's the biggest story of this whole thing, that if the canal did not exist, there would be no way to stop it. If it broke any further up, it would just be flooding towns with sewage.
Oh, wow.
So it is fascinating. Luckily, where it broke, it didn't kill the upper Potomac. If you guys know, the upper Potomac, which is above the break line, it's non-tidal. Fantastic smallmouth fishing. They've been stocking that thing with smallmouth for years. That's okay, because it's just a little bit up from the Great Falls. So there's a huge section all the way up to Harper's Ferry and to where I live in the middle of nowhere. That's fine, not damaged.
Good. I love
DC,
Harper's Ferry.
Harper's Ferry is going to be fine. So,
Good.
yeah, but the thing is, that's the thing you have to dissociate. You can go to DC right now, and the water's fine, but you're going to have to burn your clothes after you walk in downtown DC because it's going to smell terrible. So, yeah, it'll be fun making the run from Mattawoman up to DC if you want to.
Wow. That is so crazy. Guys, this is why you need to be watching or listening to Fish in the DMV, by the way, to keep up with what is going on. I tell you guys all the time on the show, some people think it's going to be here forever. Nothing could ever happen. Nothing bad could ever happen. I mean, one spill. I mean, we had a spill years ago down on the James River. I mean, It was a rock tent or something like that. I think it's what it was. Don't quote me. It's been many years ago. Dumped a lot of sewage in the James River. And it became, really, really bad. And you didn't, it took months to clean up. And even to this day, when you paddle up past the rock tent, it still smells pretty daggone bad. So, I mean, nevertheless have the sewage in the actual water that we fish, enjoy, swim in. I got a friend of mine, you guys don't know, the river is good and bad. I mean, I got a friend of mine who her nickname is No Legs. She was actually in the river, got a parasite, and lost both her legs. I mean, at young age. I mean, we're talking about really young age. So it's like, we need to take care of our waterways big time.
And it became a political hot button issue. I mean, as you know, the president, I don't think he tweets, whatever it is. I'm not on Twitter purposely to keep myself sane, but it became a political football. And people are not trying to get sued. Like once the river keepers and organizations like that, if you guys don't know, the river keepers, water keepers, they're basically the only thing we have close to like an NRA, so to speak, where they try to keep our waterways from having just raw sewage and poison dumped into it. And so they're gearing up for a class action. And because of that, there's going to be a lot of finger pointing and a lot of like, okay. And if anyone's run a business or know, like, guess what? The reason they say do not dive headfirst into a jacuzzi is because somebody did it. And so they don't want somebody to eat a catfish down near 301 or down near Aquia Creek and get sick. And then it's like, cool, you didn't tell us it was dangerous or whatever. So that's just how this politics and lawyer society we live in works. It stinks, but that's just the reality of it.
All right, guys, like you said, take care of your waterways, man. Keep the trash out of the water. I mean, I know this is sewage, and I know here in Lynchburg they've been working pretty daggone hard on the sewage systems downtown, the water systems. It's been a revitalization project in our area for, God, it seems like a decade now. It's actually so bad that businesses have started to close downtown because the road's being shut down because of them working on this. A restaurant that I really like might go under. I hope not, but it might go under because, no one want to go downtown. So take care of your waterways, everybody. Yeah. Learn and watch and pick up your trash. I don't care what type it is, pick up your trash. So, all right, guys.
So you're saying, Thomas, you're not going to go kayak fishing in that lake, in that river system?
No skinny dipping, no polar plunge for a while, no paddle boarding. I'm going to be sticking to the boat. And definitely going to be careful about hitting waves up there and getting that splash.
Ooh. All right, let's roll on.
That's the wrong kind of splash.
Ooh, that is nasty. All right, guys, like I said, Fisher Anaya is with us tonight. Fisher, thank you so much for taking the time to join us tonight. 19 years old, man.
I actually turned 20 in November.
Oh, he's 20 now. He's still just a kid.
Oh, yeah.
20 years old. You have already racked up so many great finishes already. Now a wins. Dude, how's, besides fishing 24/7, what have you been doing to keep consistent like this?
Nothing really. I mean, I hang out with a girlfriend. I hunt, deer hunt a lot. And then other than that, I fish.
Wow. We've had a bunch of young anglers on here before, and they talk about rooming together, fishing together, and being on the road together. And they're talking about like weeks and weeks of bass fishing.
Oh, yeah. It's 24/7. I left from Lake Martin, drove home, slept a night, drove to Atlanta, did a seminar from 6 to 8:30, left from there, drove through the night to Sam Rayburn to fish the Open, got up the next morning, fished the Open.
Holy cow. So give us a little bit, for everybody who doesn't know who you are, Fisher, give us a little backstory on you. your young career here and how you kind of got started in this whole tournament bass fishing.
Yeah, my dad got me started in it. We fished all the high school tournaments, Bass Nation High School, stuff like that right here in Alabama. Fished the national championship in Bassmaster. I think I fished 3 of those in my 4 years of high school career. Finished third in one. Then the other 2 didn't do so good, but I was still like a freshman and a sophomore when I fished those 2. So still young, but had a very successful high school career around the house. Really just, I was privileged to do online school, so I didn't have to go to school much. So I just got to fish every day. Fished all that stuff, decided jumping BFLs and Toyotas my senior year of high school. Fished those, had a really, really good year. I think I finished third in AOY in that. Decided to fish those one more year and fish the Opens the next year. Wasn't planning on fishing the Opens till I was probably 22. I was going to wait a little bit because I've always got told that you go in there and it might bust your confidence up because those guys are going to catch them. And I was like, heck with it. I'm jumping in it. Why not? So I jumped in the Opens and had a stupid good year, honestly. Like, wasn't planning on having a year like that. But, I mean, stuff happens for a reason. It was my time to catch them, do good. So that's what happened. Now I'm on the Elite Series. I won my second one on Lake Martin. So qualified for the Classic this year at Hartwell and a team championship. It's just kind of crazy how it's all unfolding.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got 2. I mean, like I said, he qualified for this year's and next year's Classic. Hartwell next year. The Tennessee River system this year. But let's talk about, dude, giant bag, man. Biggest bags ever weighed in a Bassmaster Open event. I mean, how did you feel going into the event and throughout the event? Did you think this would actually happen?
I think that was Pake that caught that mega bagger. Riley Harris.
Okay.
Caught the
So you had a couple of nice bags, some like 20-some pound bags, though, didn't you?
Yeah, I had 28 something the first day,
Right.
and then 22 the second day, and 22 again the last day. Ended up finishing 6th. Both my good buddies finished first and second. One at Pake South, he set the record. That's who I roomed with in the
That's
Elites.
right.
And then Jason is another really good buddy of mine. He'll be on the Elites this coming year. You can mark that down. He's coming. He's good. So can't wait for him to qualify. And 2 boys finished first and second, and I got 6th, so I can't complain. The whole house made the cut.
No.
Well, Lake Martin, dude, did you practice? You didn't get a lot of practice from Lake Martin, did you?
I actually pre-practiced Martin. I fished a bunch of high school tournaments down there.
Okay.
I think I fished 3 high school tournaments down there. I finished, I think, second, or one of them finished second, and the other 2, and then went down there pre-practice an event. Fished a derb actually in pre-practice. Me and Jay, so we're like, heck, let's just go fish this tournament down there. Showed up, practiced 2 days, jumped in the tournament, had 15 pounds at all spots, won that tournament, and I was like, all right, I got an idea of what I need to do and where I need to do it at. Went back in there for the Elite Series tournament, and I fished in there the first 2 days of the tournament really, and never caught nothing. Like, I kind of tried to force the issue. Wasn't happening, and I was been eyeballing this big creek the whole time I've been down there, and I ain't fished it yet. I'm like, that creek just looks like it'd have a spot living in it. Pulled in there late the second day, and it was like clockwork down one bank. I caught everything I weighed in the last 3 days off that one bank.
Wow.
Fisher, for people that live under a rock and aren't aware, how does Lake Martin set up compared to, let's name another spot lake in Alabama? Is it pretty much the cookie cutter?
Yeah, it's very similar. It's Smith Lake's more like a mountain style lake, like it's got more bluff style banks, all that good jazz. But like, just say like Lanier, Hartwell, those lakes up there, Martin's a spitting image of those lakes. It's just got a lot smaller fish. There's a lot more fish in Martin. They're just a lot smaller.
So is it more of just trying to find that one key bite? So I think when you go up north and it's like literally ounces matter, and it's not about, you find one school of fish that's a pound and this one's a pound 0.25, and does it get that kind of granular with it?
Yes, it does. Like, it's kind of crazy because you catch so many 1 and 150s, 165s, and then you're like, you get a limit of those, you got 9 pounds. You're like, all right, I'm mid pack now. Like, this is what everybody's gonna catch. And then catch a 2.5, and you go from 50th place to 20th place. Like, it just jumps you crazy amounts of numbers. Like, ounces are the name of the game. 2.25s to 2.5s are a major difference. And if you catch some 3s to 3.5s, it's game over. There's nobody gonna catch you.
How much did finding green ones factor into your strategy at all as you went into the tournament?
That's what I chased all practice. Like I was trying to catch largemouth. I found one area that had some really big ones in it. They were just extremely hard to catch. Like it was the only hard fish to catch on the lake. And I couldn't catch them. Then I had some big ones on a swim jig up under shallow docks that I was going hoping to catch 18, 20 pounds out from underneath those docks, and pulled up, forced it the first day for like 5 hours, and I caught 1 2 pounder and lost 2 3s, and I'm like, this is not good. I just wasn't there. I don't know what changed, and after that, I had to just leave them alone and go chase spots because I had that one marina with some big largemouth that if I did catch some, it'd be great. And I had, I think, in 3 days of fishing it, I had 2 bites out of there. One of them was a 3 pounder, and the other one was like a 4, and I lost a 4 pounder. So it was the largemouth are super sporadic, like they're kind of random. You just get into groups of them. When you find them, there's usually a bunch of largemouth there, but you just got to find them, and that's the hardest part.
What do you think kind of helped prepare you for fishing spotted bass? That type of a tournament.
Yeah, I've grew up on Smith Lake my whole life, and it's straight spotted bass. Like that's all you catch really. There's some big largemouth in it occasionally, but all we chase is spots. And knowing how a spot reacts and what they do, I've always done good on herring fisheries like hartwell and deer, stuff like that. It really just played into my role going down there. That's probably my favorite species to chase is a spotted bass.
Are all spot fisheries created equally? I know, like with smallmouth, like they can vary depending on what lake or river that you're at.
It really depends. They're all different. Like depending on the amount of herring that's in the place can make the place special. Like Lanier is special. Like it's one of those ones, 4 pound spots get you nothing out there. And around here we don't have that. Smith 15 to 18 pounds is like catching them, and that's the same with Martin. 15 to 18 pounds is catching them. So the ones around here, they're very similar. Like they're kind of all created about the same. Smith's got more blueback. I think Smith's got bigger spots in it. It's just they're so hard. They're so much harder to catch at Smith than they are at Martin, which doesn't really make sense. So you think it'd be right the opposite when there's more big ones in Smith, but it's just weird.
That's fascinating. I wonder why the largemouth population. Yeah, I wonder why the largemouth population has taken a dive there at Martin, because it didn't used to always be like that.
No, and Smith was the same way. Smith used to be like crazy good with largemouth. I remember just me being young at like 12, 13 years old, me and my dad going over there fishing. And, I mean, you catch all the 4 pound largemouth you want to catch. Like we'd weigh 3 in for 17, 3 for 14, like really good weights. And it's kind of like they've all died off. I honestly think spots hurt largemouth in a way. I feel like they kind of take the place over. And you'll notice like after a while, like largemouth at Smith, they used to be super healthy. They looked good. Everything was great. Now the spots have gotten so thick in there. Most of the largemouth catch skinny as a rail. They look sick. So I just think the spots just run them.
Yeah. They're just so aggressive. They just eat everything around, and just harder for the large to compete.
Yeah, and I just finished doing a couple of biology reports with North Carolina's a fishery biologist, and that's the one thing talking about bluebacks and spots, and people try to recreate Lanier and Hartwell, and it's like those are or the lakes out in California, and those are just so unique. Those aren't the norm. Those are such an outlier that they work, and you still have decent largemouth in them too, believe it or not. So, and when you think about like Martin, were you trying to just hunt a certain area, or was it just hunting fish, if that makes any sense?
Mine was more of an area. Like I fished Martin my whole life, and I'm like, there's one area this on Martin that's usually got better than average fish. So like instead of catching 175s, you catch 225s. So that's usually the section I stay in. There's usually one area of it that fires. It's a giant section. Like it's really its own lake, to be completely honest with you. And there's usually a few sweet spots in that giant section. You just got to find where the 2.5s are living at instead of the 2 pounders. And that's basically what I did. Pulled into a pocket that was in an area that I've been fishing. Like I fished a pocket on the left side of it and the right side of it. Caught big ones in there both days of practice. And I'm like, man, they're all gone. I don't know where they went. Should have thought of this first day. Check the pocket that's right next to it that you ain't checked yet. And I swung in there, and it's like they've all swam out of that pocket and went into the middle pocket. I guess the heron might have moved in there. The redfin moved in there. Something forced those fish in that pocket. Pressure. I don't know what it was, but they had everything they needed. They had shallow wood. They had deep wood. They had rocks. They had points. They had drains, docks. It didn't matter. They had everything they needed. So I guess they just pulled in there getting ready to spawn because it was, I mean, it's picture perfect for like spawning areas for spots. So they're just big rock piles under the water in like 5 to 4 foot. And heck, I could pull up to the rock pile, look with my eyeballs, and see one swimming down there. You could just, I sight fish probably 5 or 6 of my keepers that tournament.
You had a question, Trever?
Well, mine is more of going back to the very first event you were in on the Elite Series at Lake Gunnersville. What was it like, coming to the Elites from the Opens, your experience coming into there? Because, you didn't have the greatest tournament, and then you turn around and have a phenomenal tournament. So what was your mental state going into Gunnersville and after Gunnersville to gear up to hit Martin?
Yeah, after seeing I qualified, knowing I was on the verge of qualifying in the first one, starting on the home pond 20 minutes down the road, I'm like, dang, I'm going to win the first one. Why not? Let's just swing for it. And dumped mode in practice, and I had like a phenomenal practice. I mean, I had like 5 to 10 areas that I could go with ease and catch 22 to 24 pounds, like with your eyes, because you catch them every single cast. And I've never seen Gunnersville freeze over with ice. Like, it just doesn't do that. And I was trying to force some fish into an area that wasn't quite doing it. Usually that time of year, I could go catch them in a foot of water on a 1/4 ounce trap, and they were just pulling up sun in their eggs like they do when they're floating when you got scope. And the water being so cold, it was just like half those pockets were frozen with ice. Like, the fish just moved out. They just went to the river, and I was living on the lake for so long. I'm like, they're doing it somewhere. I got to find them. And I just kept forcing that issue. And I had those handful of areas they were doing it in. They were just a little deeper than they usually get. And it's just like they ended up leaving first day of the tournament. I caught a really big one and a good one on my first 2 casts on my starting hole. I'm like, all right, they're still here. I can make this work. And then it just kind of went downhill. Like, it just, I don't know what happened. It wasn't my tournament. I didn't adapt right. And I was kicking myself in the butt for it. I was kind of mad, pissed off. I was like, this sucked. Like, how the heck do I do this on the home one? And I knew Martin was next. I knew I had a shot at Martin after seeing how it sets up. It's my style. I was like, heck with it. Had a bad tournament. It's going to happen. Go to the next one. Start over. Do it again.
Nice. I fished Gunnersville and was like, man, and most of the anglers I picked on the fantasy fishing side all lived in Gunnersville, around Gunnersville, and none of the locals did well at all. Like,
it's just that weather.
So I was kind of curious, being a local guy, and I guess the weather just messes so much.
It messed up a lot of guys because all the locals knew what they should be doing, and I think we all tried to force the same issue and was all stuck catching the same size fish, which was 2.5 pounders.
Which on Gunnersville is not going to get you a check.
No, not very good at all.
Wow.
No.
Guys, I apologize to you, Fisher. First of all, you did finish 6th the last one. Yes, 70.13 pounds for your first open of the year. Getting into the elites this year from last year, where everyone was able to use forward-facing sonar the whole entire event, and going from where the elites picked, the very first event of the year, no forward-facing sonar, to this one, a forward-facing sonar. We're going to hear the Randy Block. Hear other people talk about it. But what has it been like for you? Guys, we have talked to kids all over, and I'm going to say he's a kid, but he's a young man, that, they can catch fish. They don't need forward-facing sonar. It helps, but they don't need it. What was the transition kind of like? I know it was a home body of water, but at the same time, going from a non-forward-facing sonar to a forward-facing sonar, and through the schedule.
It's definitely weird because I've kind of had forward-facing my whole life since I started trying to like really fish these big tournaments. Like senior year of high school, I was scoping, and I really feel like I jumped ahead of the game on the scope thing. Like, I had a big minnow before everybody was throwing it. I was always one step ahead, and it helped me catch fish that people couldn't catch because I had baits I haven't seen yet. And then going in, and it's like, all right, we're going to change it up to 50-50. I like it. I think it's fun. Maybe it's going to stay like it is. I hope it does. I enjoy having a tournament. Oh, you ain't got scope, go throw a buzz bait. That's my favorite thing in the world to do, is throw a buzz bait. So I think it'll be good. It's different because it kind of throws you off, because you're usually like used to dumping your trolling motor down and pointing out there like, all right, this is how deep the grass is. This is where it stops. Like, you can really see all that by just putting your trolling motor down. and you can target fish. You can say, oh, there's fish sitting on this stump. I can mark her, come back and catch her. You don't have that now. So it's kind of like you're stuck having to cast around and just maybe pull her off, maybe get her to bite and shake her off, hope she goes back and there's more there. Like you don't really know. And I think that's the fun thing about having no scope is you don't know what you're on. Like you really have no idea. You don't know what's living down there. You don't know how many's there. You get a bite, you leave, and you're just praying to God there's more than one there.
The classic's right around the corner. And, is that, I can't remember, is that a no forward facing or a forward facing? I couldn't remember if that was or not.
They could use forward.
Yeah,
they can. Okay.
Garmin and Hummingbird would be very upset if they didn't use it in the classic.
What do you kind of, like you were talking about earlier, what do you kind of use your forward facing? How has the forward facing impacted your fishing? Like I said, you grew up with it. I mean, you're 20 years old. It's been out for how long, guys, now? Like 5 years now? People don't think that, but it really has been out for quite a while now.
Around for a while.
It's been out for longer than that, honestly.
Yeah, longer than that. How does it help you prepare for some of these events?
It really speeds your practice up on the amount of water you can cover, and you can cover it so efficiently because you know what's living there. Like I can just say I'm trolling down a grass line. I can troll and find every single blade of grass that's holding more than one fish or where they're set up on the grass without having to make a cast and catch one. So I can just troll down through there, see them, mark them, say there's 15 sitting on this clump of grass or this twig, mark them, keep going. And I can really pick out isolated fish. I don't have to go reel something around and catch a random one here and there. I can pick out fish, pull up to a waypoint, set my trolling motor down, fish. If they're not there, go to the next one. It just speeds your process up so much compared to not having it. So it's a big player. I like using it. It's fun. I can see where it can be confusing for a lot of guys because it is frustrating. Like a lot of people think you throw on them and you catch them. That's far from the point.
Doesn't work.
I can't tell you how many I throw on a day just to catch 5 of them.
Like you're talking about your schedule the other, talking about going from the opens to the elite events. And, guys, most of these events are back to back to back this, for the season and many seasons, to be honest, because it's crazy how fast it freaking goes. But do you think that the, forward facing sonar has kind of helped? We've talked about, I think half a day of practice is all you need. A day of practice with FFS, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it definitely speeds it up. If you know the section of the lake to look in to find the right size fish and whatnot, if you have a day of checking the right section, you find all you need to find. Like you just find so much stuff with it, and even in the tournament, you find new stuff with it. That's the major thing about it is you can go fish new water and know what you're fishing for. It's not like I'm going to reel something around in this pocket that I don't know has a bass in it. I control this pocket in 10 minutes and tell you, all right, there's 12 bass living in here. Catch 1 or 2 of them, it's a new spot to go to. So it just really helps speed everything up, and you don't have to have as many days of practice or spend as much time on the water to figure them out.
Like I said, we were talking about earlier the spotted bass, and this is, like I said, a really spotted bass event. Is there a certain way that you kind of set up your, rod, reel, your stuff for a spotted bass event, or do you change anything up?
Not really. I throw the same style stuff for a largemouth, smallmouth, etc. I'll change the size of bait I'm throwing. If I'm throwing a 2-inch minnow for spots, a 3-inch minnow for spots, to a 7-inch minnow for a largemouth. And really, it just depends on the size of the bait, and then water clarity is a big player. If it's super clean water, I will throw like 12, 14-pound leader line. Usually on like largemouth style sections, like just say Gunnersville, any TVA style, I throw 17-pound leader line.
Pull it through the grass.
Yeah.
Throwing the urchins.
What's that, Trevor?
I asked him if he was throwing some of those urchin styles that are out there right now, kind of like Pig South did down at the Opens,
Oh yeah, they work. I don't know why, but they do work.
Dive in there real quick.
I've never figured.
Go ahead, talk about it.
Yeah, I never figured that out either. So, what's your philosophy on why they would eat something that doesn't look natural in the fishery?
I don't know. I think they're just getting so smart now because so many people's trying to catch them. So many people's throwing on the same fish now. They're just getting educated. So it's something a little different. They ain't ever seen nothing like it before. It action's different. Everything's different about it. And dude, I've been to some lakes. They do not like it. Like they will run from it. So it's really one of those hit or miss style baits. It either works or it doesn't. And I just think the main thing is something they've never seen.
Go ahead, Thomas.
It's got really good secondary action. I mean, it's why does a jig work with that skirt plumage? But you don't have that big heavy weight. And when they get close to it, because I fish a lot of smallmouth water up where I'm at, and it's like so when they get nose up to it and they breathe on it, you know that thing is undulating and moving, which is not something that the angler necessarily imparts on it. And I think that usually kind of convinces those really. And again, I think it has to be fish that are super gun shy, generally speaking, that they're looking for kind of what that pattern recognition they have and what a bait does, and that. And this thing does not do it because everything is just constantly moving.
Yeah, I think I've come to the theory. I think they go to sneeze. They go down there and it tickles their nose and they sneeze and they stuck it in and you got them. They're stuck in.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's so good.
Guys, like I said earlier, when this goes up, we will be 4 or 5 days away from the 2026 Bassmaster Classic on a Tennessee River. Fisher, why should we pick you for our fantasy fishing team?
And I don't know. Hopefully, I do all right.
Now, well, the question really is more in that, a little more in depth. I mean, do you think your strengths will play into the river, and what river knowledge do you have? Guys, when you come through the high school, we've talked about this so many times. The high school, did you go to any college, or did you just do high school right into pros?
I didn't do college. I ain't smart enough to go to college, so I skipped that part.
Come on, Fisher. But the high school does help tremendously. And even if you don't go to college, and fishing with father, the whole family thing, I mean, helps tremendously. But what river knowledge do you have, and will you be able to translate that to a victory for us?
Hopefully so. I mean, living on the Tennessee River right here at the house, we do have current. We got dams. We got, if you name it, we got it. It's current, humps, banks, docks, rock piles fishing down the bank, like anything like that, isolated cover. I think that's what's going to play on that place. Never really seen the place, never watched anything about the place, have no clue what I'm getting into. I'm going to take it as like it's back home, like TVA here, like Chickamauga, something like that doesn't have grass. It's got more clay, more shell, stuff like that. The fish are going to hold on small pieces of structure is what I'm thinking. Any sort of twig, rock, hard spot on the bottom. If it's a dock post, anything they can get on to hide out of the current, a current eddy, anything like that's going to play. So I think it's going to be a mixture of you're going to have some guys catch some scoping if it's shallow wood, deep brush piles, etc. And then you're going to have some guys catch them out of current eddies. If it's a rock vein that's blocking some current off some fish that's just staging behind it, throwing a crankbait, a scrounger head, anything sort of in that mindset, I do think that'll play. And luckily, right here around the house, we got all that. So I think it's going to set up my style. I just got to make the fish bite and find the fish to win.
Guys, I've been watching the forecast. It's going to be wet. It's looking like it's going to be a rainy classic right now. Leading up to it, at least. I haven't seen after that. I know media day is supposed to rain. I think Friday is supposed to rain. It's supposed to be in the 70s leading up to the actual event, and it's supposed to be a high of about 50 degrees. It ain't going to change water temperature by no freaking means, but it is going to change. It's going to be. I hope Friday's it. I haven't seen past Friday yet for the weather forecast, but it is going to be an interesting classic.
Should be fun. I say let it rain. I hope it rains like fire.
That's what I'm talking
Buzzbaits do well in the rain.
That's what I'm saying. I won one in the rain this year and didn't win the other one not in the rain, so let it rain.
He's got the rain on his side, and let's hope it continues.
That's right.
So. Fisher, man, appreciate you coming on. Thank you for talking with us. Congratulations on the win. He's only 20 years old. He corrected us. I mean, he can't drink yet, but the dude's got a big, long career ahead of him, and hopefully a 2026 Bassmaster Classic champion that we're talking to tonight. Let's cross our fingers there. He could be able to put it all together in a couple days. I guess you did when you qualified. I guess you did make a little trip up there. Have you made it? You said you hadn't made any trip at all.
Nah, I don't do.
He wanted to be a fresh. He wanted everything to be fresh.
That's how I like to roll into things. I don't do pre-practice that much. I'd rather just show up blind. It makes me stay in one area and kind of break it down more. So show up, go fishing. If it happens, it happens. If not, so be it. And I'm just gonna be happy to be there.
Free entry. It's a free event.
Yeah,
So,
that's
I
awesome.
mean, yeah, we've talked about that here on the show, guys. I really, that probably is the best way. I mean, it really is. If you've been, just to go in now with the technology that we have that's available, you can get spun out real freaking quick with days and days and days of practice. Like I said, but
Yeah.
hey, to each be their own. So good luck to you. Appreciate you being on the show. But guys,
Look, Fisher.
before we wrap it up, Thomas, what is happening in your world this week on fishing the DMV?
Pumping out more content than there are chapters in the Bible. So we have a couple of episodes coming up. We got the Chesapeake Bay is starting to heat back up. So we got some reports dropping in March for that. We are on our North Carolina swing right now. We have a great episode dropping, I think, on the Monday that this airs, which is the How They Built It, which was a nice little mini series that I've been doing.
Yeah.
Lake Norman. We're going all the way back, talking about the construction of Lake Norman, fish, habitat, everything. If you guys want to know, the lake started to be constructed before World War I and didn't get finished filled until 1960. So when they decided to build Lake Norman, the Wright brothers just started to fly a plane, and by the time it was ready to be used, they put a rocket on the moon. So just a really interesting thing that some of these lakes are like museums when it comes to how old they are.
That is awesome, dude. Guys, how many? You've done a couple different lakes so far, and it's really, if you guys like history and stuff, that is really freaking awesome, because I think Smith ain't that old.
It's a baby, man. Like
Bugs, compared to a lot of these lakes around here. I mean,
Bugs Island was being constructed the same year we stormed the beaches of Normandy.
Wow.
It kind of makes you really think like some of these lakes that they're like old.
Yeah. And stop putting spotted bass in it, by the way. We're tired of it already.
Kill it.
But we are seeing bigger bass. We're seeing some 5 pound. I think at the end of last year, we saw a 5 pound spot come out of Bugs. So we are starting to see them getting a little bit bigger. So, we had the largemouth virus disease. Good God, guys. We're telling age now, probably 10 years ago. And then after that, someone brought a bunch of spotted bass over from another lake right down the road. And here we are today on Bugs Island. So, come on, let's stop messing with the fisheries around here, people.
Mm-hmm.
Please stop. All right. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. Trever, you got anything before you go going on your channel?
For before the first cast this Friday, we kind of recapped the NPFL, kind of recapped that first one. And then we're kind of looking forward to the event that's, when this drops, it'll just complete. And that's at the BPT, where they're doing something different. They're fishing 2 lakes that they've never fished before. So it's going to be quite interesting here in Texas. They're fishing Lake Whitney for basically the qualifying rounds. And then they have to switch to Lake Waco for basically the finals to finish it up. So we kind of talk about that whole deal, because there's not a lot of histories. No tournaments been taking place. It's the first time they're actually doing a split of the 2 lakes like that. So it'd be really interesting to see. So I kind of do a preview of that, and then talk a little bit about March fishing. So,
guys, I ain't gonna lie. It's 15 minutes or so with Trever. Change your life. Great show, by the way. You need to be listening. Thank you guys. Welcome all new listeners, by the way, to Basscast Radio. But you guys need to be listening or watching. You can watch on YouTube, or you can listen to anywhere you listen to podcasts, iTunes. I think Google Podcasts is officially gone, man. I kind of looked up the other day, and I think it's gone because they've been trying to get rid of it, because they've been trying to move everything to YouTube. Spreaker, daggone, what is it? Alexa and iHeartRadio. So you guys can listen to Basscast Radio in all those locations. So appreciate you guys listening. Appreciate you being a part. The Bassmaster Classic. We will be recording every night at the Classic. That's what we do. I don't write. I just bring an angler over there. No lie. We interview him. We hit pause. We bring interview. We hit pause. And then we get a show and we upload it that night to the internet, where you can go back and hear conversations with some of the best anglers in the world. And maybe we can get Fisher over to the table and let him give us a little quick recap of his day one at the 2026 Bassmaster Classic. Have a great night, everyone, and we'll be talking to you later.
All right. Right on.